Russia has just inaugurated its president for another 6-year term. And yes, you know this man. It is the same president who's been in power for the last quarter century. This is Vladimir Putin's fifth walk down the aisle at his inauguration. He won his last election in March by an overwhelming majority. Russia's top military and political brass showed up, but the U.S. and many European countries did not send representatives, calling the election a sham. Claire Sebastian joining us now from London with more. We talked about it in the lead up to the election in March. This was no surprise to anyone. What was the significance of Putin's inauguration today then, Claire?
Yeah, Amara, look, this was a ceremonial event, very choreographed. It sort of lends the trappings of credibility, obviously, to Vladimir Putin, who swept to power, certainly it's believed, outside of Russia in an election that was neither free nor fair. But inside Russia, look, nothing changes. If anything, there's a renewed sense of permanence around his rule. This, his fifth term, may not even be his last. He's eligible to run again in 6 years' time, should he decide to do that. But look, internationally, obviously, many diplomats did not attend this event. But what we could glean from the very short speech that Vladimir Putin made is that the policy of confrontation with the West will certainly continue in his fifth term. Take a listen.
We do not refuse dialogue with Western states. The choice is theirs. Do they intend to continue trying to restrain the development of Russia, continue the policy of aggression, continuous pressure on our country for years, or look for a path to cooperation and peace?
So obviously, when he says we do not refuse dialogue with the West, take that with a pinch of salt. He goes on to say that a conversation, even on security, is possible, but not from a position of strength. It has to be on equal ground. The translation is that he will only engage in dialogue with the West if they stop supporting Ukraine, which, of course, is not happening right now. But significant also that Putin sees one key lever that he can pull, and that is, of course, the nuclear threat. Just one day before this inauguration, Russia announcing that it is preparing drills, military drills, that would simulate the use of a battlefield nuclear weapon, a non-strategic nuclear weapon. This was in response, they said, to comments from David Cameron, the UK Foreign Secretary, and the French President Emmanuel Macron, suggesting that the West's aid for Ukraine could go even further than where it is right now. So you can see that this policy of confrontation, that nuclear threat, that will be a key challenge for the West as it approaches Putin now in his fifth term.
And Claire, we're hearing some reports of a possible assassination attempt against Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. What are you learning about that?
Yeah, this news is coming from the Ukrainian security services, saying that they have caught and arrested 2 employees of the Ukrainian the state secret service. That's the department that's charged with protection for President Zelensky and other top officials. Now, these 2 employees have been charged with treason. They are accused of being part, according to the Ukrainian secret service, of a network of Russian agents working for the FSB, which is, of course, Russia's own security service, and passing classified information to Russia about the whereabouts of President Zelensky, and not only him, but also the head of the Ukrainian state security services and the head of defense intelligence as well. So they are saying that they have foiled this plot now. This, of course, not the first time that we've seen assassination attempts against President Zelensky. He himself said in an interview in February that he lost interest after the 5th time, but it does seem to have been a pretty major operation to foil this plot. Amara?
All right, Claire Sebastian, thank you so much.